Welcome back to another Planet Zoo video, where today we're going to be creating a lovely, high detailed and realistic habitat for one of the new animals in the new Eurasia Pack. That's the wild boar. We've got a new video, we've got a new pack, and we've got new animals in the new pack. Eurasia Pack has been released, and this is going to be my first habitat build for one of the animals, which, like I just said, is the wild boar, which I'm very excited to build for one main reason. I've done a lot of Planet Zoo modern themes recently in my new Tropic Zoo series, and I just wanted to delve in and do something quite realistic, beautiful. Obviously it's still going to be high detailed and we're going to have loads of little different elements to it, but something a little bit more rustic and, you know, maybe I kind of want to say maybe a little bit more run down, but yeah, more realistic is the theme I'm going for here. So a lot of kind of like mud, obviously because it's the wild boar, a lot of dark colours like you can see me building here, which is a custom wall, by the way. I kind of like layered these Indonesian, what they're called, Indonesian stained wood pieces is what they're called, and I kind of laid them down, and then I kind of like turned one, and it kind of gives this like effect like it's paneling, like it's man built paneling like attached to like a brick wall, and that's kind of look we went for with the hard shelter, which took me a hell of a long time to build. But yeah, anyway, new pack, new animals, what we're thinking, comment down below. Which is your favorite animal? Which are you most excited to build for? Which are you building for right now? I probably will build a habitat per animal like I normally do when a new packet is released, so you could probably expect that. Obviously, the new Tropic Zoo series is continuing to go. I've actually been quite unwell lately. I've just getting over a massive dose of the man flu. I said man flu, it's more like maybe COVID or a chest infection. I was literally in bed for 3 days. Like, I could not physically get out of bed, I was that poorly. I am better now. So I'm so happy to be actually able to do real life stuff, you know, instead of just like laying in a bed. Quite happy to be back playing Planet Zoo and making videos on the YouTube channel, because that's what I love doing, and I love entertaining you guys, showing you what I can do. Hopefully you learn from these videos as well, and you enjoy them. And if you do enjoy them, then you might as well hit that like button. If you are new around here and you want to see Planet Zoo related videos like this, then hit that subscribe button if you've not done already. Right, like I said, this is going to be the hard shelter, and we've got one wall, and I say it all the time in Planet Zoo, once you've got one bit, you've got them all, especially when it's attached to an on-the-grid wall like it is in this instance. Height variance, you can see me creating a higher height variant in the structure, so we're going to have two separate roofs. Again, I love doing this. I think if you've got everything just looking the same, it just kind of like looks plain and boring, doesn't it? And it just doesn't fit well with me. Yeah, especially when you're doing a high detailed build like this, the hard shelter has got to be on the point. The hard shelter is probably the first thing you will see when looking at this habitat. It's the main building, isn't it? It's going to have the access to the backstage area with all the backstage props for our zookeepers to tend to our animals, and it's going to have a backstage area which will class as the hard shelter for the wild boar, for our animals, what we're going to put in here. It's going to be a little private area where they can go get some rest away from the actual viewing areas of the habitat itself. Now, this is not going to be on the Steam Workshop page. Most of the things I do build, you know, I do put on the Steam Workshop page. But with this build, it's very difficult. In fact, it's very difficult to put any blueprint on the Steam Workshop page when it includes a lot of terrain work. Because when people download it and they go to put it on the other end, I get so many comments and so many direct messages saying, I've downloaded this habitat and now I can't place the paths. And that is because the amount of terrain work, what is involved and digging down. When you go to place the paths then on the other side, once you've downloaded the blueprint, it is so difficult. So I do apologise. And I don't know if it's going to be a running theme with stuff I build. Maybe I'll just include stuff on the Steam Workshop, which I think people can easily place down, or module items, what, you know, you can just place in a zoo or in a habitat. But yeah, if you really want it, I will put it on the Steam Workshop page. Let me know, comment down below. But I really don't want to, because it will be a pain in the ass for you to download and put it in your own zoos. And I want you to create your own stuff. I want you to take away from these videos maybe some little bit of tips and tricks. Maybe you see me do something and you think, oh, I don't do it like that, but it looks better like that. Maybe I can do it with one of my own habitat builds, and that's what I want you to take away from these videos. I don't want you to just, I don't mind you copying my builds, but downloading them, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like having the the reverse effect of what I want. I want people to learn from my build and enjoy the game and play from themselves rather than download stuff off the Steam Workshop page. This is what I'm talking about with the two roofs now. You can see I've done a thicker roof. I've added the trim with the black conservation pieces, recoloured to black so they look like metal. And then at the top we're going to do exactly the same but have it thinner. We're going to get rid of the plaster piece, what you can see underneath, and have a more thinner roof on the top. Again, just giving those variants, and just when you do this in Planet Zoo, it just makes everything just looks better, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? Like I said earlier, I'm going with the realistic theme, so we're going to have loads of little props, like little feeding stations throughout the habitat as well. That includes the actual enrichment items, what come with the game, but our custom-made enrichment items as well. We're going to have a lot, and I mean a lot of foliage, and we're going to have these fences. Now, there's a reason why I'm not building these fences and showing you how to build them. They are on my Steam Workshop page, so even though I don't want you building big stuff like, I want you to build big stuff like this, sorry, on your own and take inspiration from me, these can be got off my Steam Workshop page. It just makes life a little bit easier, and I thought I've already built something what perfectly fits in this habitat build, so why would I build it again when I can just take my own blueprint and use it in this, especially when all I have to do is recolor all these, which did take longer than I thought it would do, to the color of the paneling on the hard shelter itself, giving it that same colour scheme throughout, making it all blend in and making it all look nice and neat and tidy. Probably my OCD playing up a little bit. I say OCD, I'm not got OCD, I'm just a little bit of a perfectionist. I don't want anyone to get butt hurt me saying OCD if they've got OCD. I do apologise. I have just got a bit of a perfectionist kind of like thing going when I build stuff. I like things symmetrical, you know, and things the same, colour schemes. To me, this game, honestly, it's like being an artist, isn't it? And especially when I watch people build, because obviously I don't just build, I watch people build as well. I watch other content creators build. Big up Caesar Creates, if you know, you know. And when I watch people like Caesar and build, it's literally like watching them paint. And that's what it is for when I build. It's kind of like, it's so therapeutic for me to build in Planet Zoo, and it helps me express my creative side. And by the way, if you do want to talk to anybody or get any ideas of anything to build in Planet Zoo, you want to talk to like-minded individuals about Planet Zoo, I have got a Discord, a community Discord page where you can come in, you can show people what you've been building, you can ask for tips, tricks, you can even communicate directly with me. It gives that link to me directly, and I'm always happy to answer questions. You'll see all my comments. I try to respond to every single comment I get on YouTube. But if you do want to join the Discord, the link is in the description, so go ahead and join. Just finishing off this interior now and interior fences, and then we moved on to paths. Now I know a lot of people do struggle with the path system in Planet Zoo. Hey, I do too, don't worry about it, but just be a little bit patient with it and just kind of like plan out in your head how you want it to look and try different scenarios. You can see me just trying to line stuff onto the grid here and thinking, yeah, let's just go with it, let's just freehand this. And then I'm thinking, no, it's too wiggly, it just doesn't suit, the path is too narrow, the path is not long enough, let's just delete it and start again. Don't get frustrated, honestly, just start again. And I'm just trying to get the right path as well, and trying to get kind of like a rustic, realistic path. I wanted something with maybe gravel or mud in between, and I landed on this path, which I don't use much in my builds quite recently anyway. And I really do like it. It's a really nice looking path. So just wrap that round, and that's going to give the basics. That's going to draw out the area where we can start digging down with the terrain tool. We can start adding foliage and such like that. We're going to add a little planter to the outside of this wall here, just because I think it'll look good, basically. Obviously, we're going to add mulch and some planted plants in there as well. And now we're going to start digging down with the terrain tool. And while I do this, I just want to take a little bit of a minute just to thank you all. It's nearly Christmas now, so it's nearly New Year. Whether you celebrate it or not, it does kind of like highlight how good this year has been in terms of my channel and growth, and it's only down to you guys. And I've only got you guys who are watching right now and who have watched in the past and are planning to watch in the future to thank for that. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thanks for all the comments, thanks for all the likes. At the beginning of this year, I really didn't know what I was going to do with this YouTube channel. I didn't know how far I could take it. I didn't know if it's something I wanted to pursue as a possible career in the future. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. and my goal at the beginning of this year was to hit 3,000 subscribers, and we've just gone past 9,000. That's right, my goal was 3,000 and we've gone past 9,000. So if you are subscribed, thank you so much. I don't think you realise how much it actually means to me to be able to do something I love doing and inspire others in the process of me demonstrating my creativity. Honestly, it is amazing. I sound like some kind of artist. I'm not an artist, I just like playing Planet Zoo. Right, the main rocks what we're going to use for this are obviously these 4 rocks. I use them in every single build, but we are going to recolour them to this colour on the left, which is the Savannah Rock 1, if I'm not mistaken. You can just, if you just Google Planet Zoo 4 rock colours, you can get like a list on on Steam. Someone's made a community tab of like all the colours, and this is the closest I get this colour, and it suits, it looks well. So this is the rocks we're going to use and the colour we're going to use. And then it's all about just placing them down. Now, a lot of people ask me, how do you do your rock work? And I literally just go with the flow. You can see me doing it here. I'm just layering different rocks on top of each other and trying to make it look like a realistic rock face here. I'm obviously going to add some different rocks as well. I do normally like to add 2 different kind of coloured rocks, but in this build I don't really do that much, to be honest with you, because the rocks kind of blend into the mud, and that's what I wanted. I wanted that very natural look. I'm not going to show you me creating the whole of this rock work, because this probably was the most time consuming part of this build, and honestly this took me such a long time. It normally does rock work, but I didn't want to just copy and paste everything and make everything look like it is copy and paste, because I feel like if you do that, you can look like you are just copying and pasting it. So I didn't want that. I wanted a more natural look, adding the trees in now in between the rock face to make it look, give it that more realistic vibe. So on the right we've got this like kind of like dugout area, on the left we've got like a little pond, haven't we? So let's add the foliage. Look how better that looks. Let's take a closer look to see what I've actually done. So on the right we've created a massive rock face with some fallen trees and a lot of foliage and pebbles, and that's where we've got an enrichment item hidden away as well, so our animals can get a bit of privacy. On the left we've got our water. I love to add water in every single build, even though it's only a little bit of water like this. Right, moving on to the barrier. This is obviously going to be the thing what separates our guests to our wild boars. I'm so excited that there's a new pack. Sometimes I just forget, and then I'll just think, wait a minute, we just got a new pack. That's brilliant. I mean, we've got no building pieces. It is just an animal pack. You know me, I love new building pieces. Unfortunately, we didn't get that, but that means we probably will get them in the next pack. But I'm loving the new animals. I'm very excited to build some kind of swan lake as well, so stay tuned for that. Again, very basic rustic fence here, using the same stained wooden Indonesian wood pieces. And we're going to recolour it to the same colour as the panel, which is on the hard shelter. Again, same colour scheme. And we're just going to layer them down, really. And we're just going to kind of like go with the floor here and go with the curve of the path. Give it a nice, healthy gap though as well. Make sure we've got a nice, healthy gap. So, you know, you don't want people shoving their hands over the barriers. We need to keep with that realistic theme. We've kept with it so far, so there's no need to divert now. Keep with that realistic theme. Keep a separate kind of like natural barrier in between the actual barrier where our animals cannot get out of. And that's the kind of thing you will see in a zoo in real life. Now, it's kind of like placing these randomly down, these wood pieces as well, to kind of like broken fence, would you say? But again, trying to act as like an actual extension of the barrier, just a more safety element. Do you know what I mean? And then this area, I really didn't know what to do. I could have just copied and pasted the whole of that rock face and just done it around, but I wanted something a little bit different, something what looks a little bit man-made, and something what kind of like separates the rocks as well, because I was very cautious that there was a lot of rocks and a lot of kind of like rock faces and foliage, and I just wanted something what kind of like separated that. So I thought, let's build something what looks like it's man-made. So these plaster pieces is going down. We're going to have rocks on the top to cover. Oh, excuse me, burping then. I need to stop drinking fizzy drinks while I'm recording voiceovers for videos, because I end up burping a lot. But this time you can just listen to my burps. I'm not going to re-record that. I do apologise though. Yeah, so adding the rocks to the top just to kind of cover the jagged edges and stuff like that, and then around the side. We might add some decal on there so it looks like the plaster has been scratched and stuff like that. And by the way, if you are wondering what's going on in the inside of that hard shelter, I have added a lot, and I mean a lot of details. Obviously we've got lighting, we've got fans, we've got stuff like that, and I will show you at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. Definitely stay tuned for that. Right, just finishing off the last like little niggly bits now, and you know, filling the gaps with the rocks and the buffalo grass just slightly poking out the ground in between the rocks. Again, I know I keep saying it, but giving it that realistic theme. A lot of foliage. I always say in Planet Zoo, if in doubt, just add a load of foliage and it will make any habitat come alive. And this is a live demonstration of that's happening right now. We're going to add some bits and bobs like fallen logs and stuff like that again on the inside of the habitat. Just kind of like fill it out a bit, because it is quite a big space what I've give these wild boars actually. Maybe too big thinking about it now. But yeah, just trying to fill those gaps and trying to fill those large areas so it just doesn't look very sparse. But you don't want to overfill as well. It's a very complicated game with foliage. And here we are, the habitat is complete. And our wild boars are in and are happy. What you wouldn't have seen in the recording is me creating this kind of like backstage play slash feeding area for the animals. I needed a way to close this area off, and I didn't want to just pile in a load of rocks to do that. Obviously on the left hand side we did pile in the rocks and added them up to the gate to close off the actual habitat itself, but on the right I wanted something a little bit different and maybe kind of like a little private area for the wild boars. Obviously it's all gated all the way around, and it provides a lovely viewing from the window of the inside. So let's go inside, which is obviously all complete, which you've probably mostly seen, and it does look fantastic. I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I'm really happy how the backstage area and the hard shelter of this habitat has come out looking. And you can see just out the window there that new area that we created. So let's zoom out and take a bigger look at the whole picture here, where you can see the whole of the habitat. We've got the barrier gates going all around the edge to make sure none of our guests slip and fall into the habitat. We've got the lovely little privacy area. There's a little one of the wild boars coming up this hill. They can't escape, by the way. I know it's on sandbox mode. I know I like to get to creative, but I have got escapes on. They can't escape. They've got everything they need. They're very happy in there, and that makes me happy too. So there we go. That is the first habitat build for one of the new animals of the new pack. My name's Adam. If you did like this video, then hit that like button. If you are new around here, then feel free to subscribe, and I will catch you in the next Planet Zoo video.